I hope you guys can hear me properly. These are our little wireless mics that we're using. It is fantastic to see each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for waiting. A really big, wholehearted thank you. All right. We're in different time zones inside of Australia, unfortunately, and everyone's kind of scattered around. But I would love to be able just to say a big, massive thank you for joining us today. We've got a lot in store for anyone who hasn't already heard this spiel. Okay. Our amazing ANZ MSP Flex team are here. Okay. We've also got CORP IT, amazing gold partners. Okay. There's going to be MSP Flex roadmap updates. All right. There's going to be special prizes because it's close to Christmas and we love being Santa like that. All right. We've also got, and once I set up the screen and give you guys a little bit of cybersecurity news, okay, we've also got some special offers, okay? So stick around is what I'm trying to say. Stick around, okay? And when I mean special offers, I mean, once I fix this technical difficulty, I mean that we have some fish fret go-to-market special discounts for you guys. And we will tease that to you as time goes on. But it's an insane discount for you guys to be able to offer to your clients. And I know I'm teasing this a little bit, I'm teasing this a little bit because I haven't shown you what the discount is. All right. But this is all about growing your MSP Flex portfolio, rather yourselves as an MSP. Okay, so stick around for that. You guys all get access to it. Okay, we want to help you go to market, right, in the coming year, but also test your go-to-market strategies in this year, which is not something that everyone does. So I'll elaborate more on that in a little bit. Okay, but for now, I'm just going to start getting the screen actually working. I'm a technology distributor. Why is it always like this, guys? No, I'm kidding. Oh, I'm kidding. Let me get this up and going for you guys. Bear with me. Clearly, I need to switch out the screen. Here we go, display settings. Swap present view. Oh, fantastic. Look at that. All right, ladies and gentlemen. And while our presenters aren't here and people are filing into the room, I would like to say welcome to the first ever exclusive Grow Your Flex Strategy Hybrid Workshop, okay? Featuring our beautiful CORP IT. All right. There is approximately, how many people do we have in the room right now? If I come to the screen real quick, and I am sharing it, of course. I think we have approximately 60 people. Darren has just asked, will this session still finish at 1 p.m. Melbourne time? Okay. After the panel, most of the stuff is already done. There will be a central portal demo, hacks and tips and tricks, of course. And it gets a little bit technical. Okay. So if you guys aren't involved in that, you're welcome to, of course, pass off. We'll be releasing a lot of this footage in video format in order to let you guys know of that as well. Hey guys, welcome. Please take a seat or come inside and get networking. We're just warming up the room. So thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for coming through. And yeah, we've got a lot of people coming through, guys, because this is just the warm-up room, all right? Because I've got a whole bunch of cybersecurity news that I would just like to share with you as we go forward. And I'm just talking shop, guys, I'm talking shop. But I think my favorite so far, is this one. Microsoft is currently seizing 240 websites to disrupt global distribution of phishing kits. You know what that means? They've identified and seized 240 fraudulent websites associated with DIY phishing kits, guys. Do-it-yourself phishing kits. If I was to go up online and type DIY phishing kits, you'd be instantly a criminal, all right? But there are obviously active websites out there that are selling phishing technologies, right? So when it comes down to cybersecurity, I could access it. You could access it. The guy from across the room could bloody access it, right? That's how easily available this type of hacking software is to go out these days, okay? And I'm not saying that in terms of fear factor. I'm talking ease of accessibility in the phish in the cybersecurity market, okay, is insane. Okay, so we need to be able to have our tools up to date. And anyone who's out there saying, oh, I don't need an antivirus, I don't need a firewall, your customers, your clients who are obviously not educated inside of their cybersecurity posture, okay, we need to advise them of the current landscape because they're not privy to it. Luckily enough, they trust you. And we'll be talking about more go-to-market things as we go forward. But let's keep going, right? I've got this one. From Meta themselves, Facebook, good old Mark Zuckerberg, who may or may not be an android or a robot at this point, but they've been cracking down on organized crime centers, scam centers. And yeah, I'm scrolling through the takeaways in order just to show you guys what's out there in the landscape right now as we approach the riskiest time of the year. The riskiest time is in the holidays, okay, when no one's going to be active. And my lovely marketing team, if you could kindly disable that notification, that sound that comes up whenever the Microsoft, when people are joining, and I'll try to do that myself now as well, just before I hit, before I continue any further, if that might come up, and good that I'm tackling the admin as it comes before we actually get our panel speakers on board, right? But I'll find out how to do that as it comes across. The audio settings here. Noise suppression. Wow, that's fancy. We're using a Yearlink meeting board, by the way. We've got a massive UC technology portfolio. That's a self-plug. I don't make any cash on that, but I hope you guys are taking advantage of our UC team. Okay. Here we go. Sorry, guys. Just some little technical difficulties here and there. Just trying to turn off this annoying little sound. Love the team sound, right? It gives me anxiety sometimes. I won't lie to you guys. Gives me a little bit of, oh gosh, more people have joined the room in order to let me know. But actually, this should be it. I think that's it, but I'm not sure. Anyway, back to the news, okay, before we start around the it's 9:31. Look at that, guys. Look at time flies. But I'm gonna keep going because this one everyone's gonna be juicy into, right? What is pig butchering? what is pig butchering, right? And one of the most egregious and sophisticated fraud scams, pig butchering, otherwise known as online phishing, right, is all about building trusted personal relationships online with someone only to manipulate them to deposit more and more money into an investment scheme, often using cryptocurrency and ultimately losing that money. Now, I have seen one of my friends, very sadly in the past, become a victim of online phishing. So I kind of know how this goes, okay? Using a dating site, people get caught completely unawares, right? Especially with the amount of, unfortunately, lonely people out there in the world, okay? But Meta has actually cracked down on this. Who's behind it? During the COVID-19 pandemic, scam compounds run by organized crime emerged in the Asia-Pacific region as one of the major sources of pig butchering and other scam activity. Okay, so mostly based in Asia. The scale and sophistication of this threat is unprecedented within the US Institute of Peace, by the way, estimating that 300,000 people are forced, mind you. This is the key word. Forced into scamming others around the world by these criminal groups, with about $64 billion stolen worldwide annually as of the end of 2023, which is a massive number, which is an insane number. And the amount of people that are forced into these scam centers is worrying. So we haven't seen that in the past. We've often seen people willingly go to business, like an India scam or a call center, right? We've seen that a lot these days, right? People actively working towards sales targets. If you've been on that side of YouTube, I went down that YouTube rabbit hole one time, okay? And it was really scary, but this is people being forced to do so, okay? Which is quite concerning, of course. But no longer is it people against their will, well, rather it is with willingly doing it, it is people against their will being shunted into a business operation of this type, which is scary. I'd just like to say that, guys. So, hey, Meta has cracked down on it, which is fantastic. In other really crazy news, there's professional liability insurance for CISOs now, okay? Chief information security officers, all right? Usually, we've heard in the past of cyber insurance and compliance, right, for organizations and businesses, that type of risk factor, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But in this particular case, there is cyber insurance, professional liability insurance for personal CISOs out there, which is insane. That's how much risk is developing in the landscape. Okay, and I point out all these articles so that you guys can just simply see, right, the development of how much risk is evolving inside the market. That is the key here. The amount of risk that is growing rapidly. I did a cybersecurity risk webinar about a week or two back or something like that, all right? But just to see these types of compliance documents and insurances evolve nowadays is actually kind of wild. So if you're a CISO, this could be for you. I don't make any money on this, but hey, protect yourselves because the risk out there is insane. There's been a whole bunch of hacks. Blue Sky, huge one, is hit with crypto scams as it crosses 20 million users. Blue Sky is the people evacuating from Twitter or X, okay? And you're going to hear about this all over social media if you're a part of Instagram or something, all right? Because Threads has kind of failed. I'm not going to lie, right? It doesn't have the user count. People are evacuating to Blue Sky, this new social media platform, which replaces has the old Twitter format, right? For anyone who's got millennial or Gen Z or children, you probably have seen people mention Blue Sky lately, okay? But since it's getting the growth and the scaling has just gone rocket phenomenon, right? And then bam, scammers. This is, guys, like, protect yourselves, be savvy, be aware for your personal and for your business use. I've got people over here, I've got my attendants and my audience in the background laughing at me because of how passionate I am. So thank you guys for the laugh. I know online, if you're cracking a smile too, yeah, it's the Gen Zs, all right? I'm kidding, if anyone's the Gen Z workforce. I love you guys. But Blue Sky blowing up and becoming a hotbed for scammers and targeting banking customers in personally high-profile clients. There's one more before I'll be able to get my lovely attendees to come to the stage and I'll be hitting the in-person attendees and really kicking off because at this point it's 10:35, rather it's 9:35 inside of Queensland, and I'll just start warming up. So when you guys are ready, you're more than welcome to come and join me and have a seat as we start up the presentations. Thanks, guys. But yeah, it's a hybrid event, guys. It's the future, okay? We've got an in-person audience and we've got approximately 60 to 70 people online, which is fantastic. Okay, so I can't wait to be able to actually present you the content. But I'll give you one more, which is a massive one. It's a bit more serious. No, it's not the fact that Amazon sees nearly 1 billion cyber threats a day. Okay, it's not the fact that, here we go. There's a fintech company called Finastra and used by the largest banks, which discloses a massive hack. Now, Finastra is, of course, US based, right? And they're gigantic. Right, a hacker broke into their systems and stole data, possibly exposing sensitive information for the world's financial institution. And I'm talking the world. And people are like, blah, 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 8,100 companies. It couldn't possibly affect Australia, right? You're wrong. I did some research, okay? And once it loads up, of course, the major banks use Finastra, okay? This is just an insight. We don't know how this is going to trickle down to us inside of Australia. But the fact that Finastra got hacked, right? NAB uses Finastra. I'm not sure about the smaller ones, I won't lie, right? ANZ, Macquarie uses Finastra, right? And Zone IT Solutions, who I'm not sure what they are. But some major banks out there who are already affected, right, via this hack. And I'll read just a bit more into it before I proceed into the agenda because I've got my lovely in-person audience here. Thanks, guys, for attending. Thank you so much. Thank you to my online guys. I'm talking to 3 different people here because we've got a filming crew, right, in the background as well, all right, that's going to be filming the panel for our lovely CORP IT guests. So thank you guys so much. But Finastra supplies a range of software, and data servers for about 8,100 companies worldwide, capital markets, banking, investment management, payments, so the serious stuff. I can't swear on a stream as big as this, so imagine what I'm saying, okay? I swear in my smaller webinars, and I'm so sorry, marketing team. Look, in a notice to customers viewed by the Wall Street Journal, Finastra said that on November 7th, which is very recently, it detected suspicious activity in a secure file transfer platform used to send large files. So the interception, this is where encryption comes in. On November 8th, a hacker posted in the darknet forums claiming to have over 400 gigs of information stolen from Finastra for sale. All right, now that doesn't scare you. No. As a US person, if anyone is from the US, yeah, probably not, but from US ties and family in the US, that is scary. Over 400 gigs, and it's most likely text-based information, it's most likely records and stuff, all right? That is worrying because it's not just, image and video files which are gigantic. It's text, it's information, it's records, right? Now, that's the worldwide news. I've given you that much, and I've kind of warmed up the room in order to get to our lovely presenters, okay? So I'm going to start switching over, all right, to my slides and start getting the show rolling because everyone's sitting down around me. So thanks for your patience, everyone. All right, those are the latest cybersecurity headlines. Here's the agenda. Here's what we got in store, and I hope this screen is being shared to everyone here. If you have any Q&A, guys, we can see it live on the right-hand side of the screen. So you're more than welcome to throw me anything you want. But firstly, I'm up first, as if I've already talked your head off enough. But I've got, test your go-to-market in 2024. I'll be walking through a few slides of that in order to show you guys what we have in store for this particular workshop. Then we've got Nina with strategies to communicate the need for security with your customers. Alvin's got roadmap tools and resources specifically for the MSP Flex program and our 400 MSP Flex partners that are registered to Blue Chip. So thank you guys very much. Humbly, thank you for your patience. Then we've got a panel of CORP IT. We'll take a quick break before that, of course. Panel of CORP IT. So thank you guys for being here. They are colloquially as of right now to me and to the channel, and we can't announce this because there's no specific title, the fastest to a gold level partner using Sophos MDR, okay, which is a wild strategy because MDR, Managed Detection and Response, okay, is only relatively new in the landscape of the cybersecurity market. So they full throttled it and they're amazing at what they do, and I can't wait for you guys to share the insights. So thanks for Corp IT for being here in person and giving us that. We've also got Alvin at the end with a practical dashboard, tips and tricks, and an Ask Me Anything, of course. And you're welcome, of course, to ask anything as we go along, okay? So fantastic, guys. All right. There are some prizes, mind you, by the way. So we'll be doing some lucky draws. A $25 gift card voucher will be sent to everyone online because we're shouting you lunch, guys, for joining our beautiful MSP Flex partners. So thank you very much for that. That'll be sent at approximately 11:30 a.m. Sydney time so that the people who are further in the time zones can, of course, have time to order lunch. So you're welcome. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But we have catered lunch in person for our own in-person audience, and you guys will be in the lucky draw in order to win some amazing goodies. All right. There is a feedback form, okay, which helps. It's a worksheet. All right. I wasn't going to hand out paper worksheets like we're in school. Scan the QR code on the screen in order to fill out that feedback form. Okay. It's not just a feedback form. It's a growing your own business type of worksheet. If you fill that out, you go in the lucky draw, all right, to win an Orbit key, little gift set, and of course a Logitech Spotlight. So thank you, Sophos, for sponsoring that, guys. Love you guys so much. There'll also be Fish Fret. There'll be a fantastic special offer which I alluded to from the ANZ MSP team for joining here. Okay, and it is quite exciting. I'm not even kidding. And people say, oh, it's a 15% off sometimes. No, it's an insanely great offer for your go-to-market. Okay, so take a drink right here. Real cool. But fill that out in your own time. You don't have to do it now. Okay, there's questions as we go along, all right, that will prompt your go-to-market strategy in 2025. It's meant to be thinking about your journey next year, because by the time January hits, all right, it's already most likely too late to be catching up on the planning stages. So plan now. Anyway, I'm going to start off. I'm going to hit the ground running with some actual software cybersecurity, some cybersecurity in general. Previously on cybersecurity alerts, right? I'm so glad I get to do that. I've never been able to do that. I'm really happy. But obviously, I have to be able to get to you guys online. That's what I'm trying to do. And thank you guys for having a laugh with me. But previously on cybersecurity, I was doing a cybersecurity risk webinar. Okay, a cybersecurity risk webinar wherein we gave a lot of tools such as the NIST framework assessment for you guys to be able to go to market. Tell your clients, hey, there's got to be Essential 8, there's all these frameworks out there that we need to follow, right? And you guys don't get it, okay? So we're going to make it as simplistic as possible for you guys to understand that. Do some type of consultation with them. Do some type of compliance meeting. Get them talking about their cybersecurity posture going forward into the holiday period. This is what I mean by testing your go-to-market in this time of the year, because you get to see what works coming into the busiest time of the year before people get their budgets refreshed in 2025. Okay, so be testing, all right, be giving people free assessments, evaluations of the cybersecurity framework, of the NIST assessment framework, and get that conversation rolling. Okay, and if you want to scan that QR code for anyone online, it takes you directly to that page. I'm going to give you a massive, fast demo right now to see what you're talking about, because it's a free tool. It's not paid. It's Sophos. There's also the NIS2 directive compliance assessment online for any European people out there doing business in Europe. Okay, so it's fantastic. I'm going to show you what that looks like though, and I'm literally going to just Google, for the sake of letting you guys know if you didn't, cybersecurity NIST assessment tool. Just Googling that real quick because it's the first thing that comes up. Okay, and I'm going to be walking you guys through what that looks like on a basic level. Okay, and I hope you guys can see behind me. I'll be kneeling down a bit so the online audience can, of course, look on, and because my screen is being shared. But essentially, if you're able to take a customer through some very easy pillars to understand, right, of the NIST cybersecurity framework, and I haven't walked you through the framework, but I'll at least be able to show you how easy it is for a customer to understand and how glossy it is. Hi, my name's David. I'm a stakeholder from David's Burgers. Right, I'm an end user. It doesn't matter what it is. And my industry is manufacturing. I manufacture burgers. Right. Oh, my apologies. I clicked on the advanced one, which is wild. Now, the basic and advanced version differs in that there's questions. It's a questionnaire with only a very easy not started, partially started, completed. And it goes through the NIST cybersecurity framework in its core pillars, such as identify, asset management. And I'll only read through a few, just for the sake of example. Assess organizational assets, such as data, personnel, systems, and facilities. And it's like a questionnaire to see where they end up with. You don't have to use this one, but have your own internal one, a questionnaire, in order to give them a rating of where they are. Do you inventory software platforms and applications such as Microsoft, Windows, OS, Linux, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I've gone through this questionnaire, this free questionnaire with client, get ideas from here, and I'm talking to them about business environment, governance, and I'm clicking through here. And I'm just gonna kind of breeze past it to give you guys the gist of it, because this is a free tool which you can explore in your own time. But it goes through data security, information protection processes, maintenance, protective technology. It's really comprehensive. The basic version has a lot less questions. So if you're just doing a 15-minute compliance assessment with one of your key customers or a new prospect, for example, that is something that you can do. Oh my gosh, there's so many. I'm so sorry, guys. But yeah, that's how comprehensive it is, right? Basic version's way better. But at the end of it, this is the glossy cool part. David's Burgers Manufacturing has a glossy portfolio thing here with a beautiful overlay that says, hey, I'm terrible in every single cybersecurity thing that I've ever been, that in my posture. It's terrible. And it gives you, of course, a downloaded detailed assessment report, which you can send forward to them, your clients or your prospects, okay, and say, hey, let's continue this conversation, okay? Now, once again, this is the glossy, beautiful Sophos one. Take inspiration from it while I download and show you what this is, okay? Take inspiration from it. But at the end of the day, spitting out a beautiful report that's being able to showcase to the customer your pillar of respond is completely screwed and you are at risk. It's something that's going to awaken them to, of course, being open to the ideas of bettering their cybersecurity posture. Okay, that's all I was going to show you. I wanted to start off with that because this workshop is about growing your MSP Flex portfolio, MSP cybersecurity powerhouse, right? One tool already that you guys can use, it's free. That QR code is right there, or if just Google Sophos cybersecurity framework. Okay, now where you can put it, okay, just as an idea into 2025, real quick, everyone knows this is all fluff websites, by the way, guys. There's no one in particular. I was going to do Corp IT's one because they're really good. So look for them, Google them if you guys want a good example. But for the purposes of the demonstration, everyone sees the contact me button, okay? As a little tidbit, everyone sees the contact me button. right? But there's no incentive, usually, to just contact you. Your whole website can say a lot of things, but if they don't see why they're contacting you, okay, that's one less step for them to take in order to be a new prospect to come to you, okay? So things like get a free pen test or a compliance assessment, all right? Learn how we can help, scheduling a consultation, okay? Active, value-driven things to allow them, prospects to generate, of course, to come to you and therefore generate a lead. Okay, I'm talking high level, guys, because at the end of the day, this is marketing, but I'm the go-to market person. This is what I love. And then following up with rather clicking on it and saying, hey, book a Zoom discovery call with us, right? With a live calendar or schedule an on-site visit. Taking the further step to be like, hey, we're going to be here for you, okay, in order to showcase prospects and, of course, current clients that we're going to be here for you to help you to grow your site, to protect your cybersecurity posture. That's what it is. And an example, this is Calendly, by the way, just a demo Calendly calendar. As soon as they click that link, you get all the active time slots. They can choose as they want, 24/7. You click into it, you select a time, 2:30 p.m. We have this active on our own partner portal, so we have experience with it. Clients, literally, as soon as they exit from Google onto our landing page, just book in live. Okay, so your BDMs and stuff like that, please implement this. Okay, it's free. Calendly is free for 1 or 2 people. If you're using Microsoft already has the booking, Microsoft booking. It's free. Utilize this coming to the new year. Test it this year. It's just some ideas, guys. All right. If you want more crazy stuff about the NIST assessment framework, scan the QR codes. You got a startup guide for small businesses. This is just stuff to help you along. I'll release a lot of these slides at the end, okay, just to give yourself that. If you have 3 hours in this holiday, which I expect no one does, you can do the 3-hour course from NIST themselves about the cybersecurity framework. So if you really want to get into becoming an expert for that, you can. All right, they do their whole course. Beautiful, fantastic. All right, you'll see that. But with that done, I've talked your head off way too much, and I'm gonna start quieting down and toning down so that Anena doesn't have to match my energy. So I'm so sorry for anyone who has to follow me up on stage. She's got a big job right now, but here are some Sophos, right, from Sophos, from the ANZ MSP team. Naina's relatively new, but she's blasting it across the entire country, and she's been so amazing to all partners who contact her. So thank you, Naina, for your work. But I'd like to welcome you to the stage for the strategies to communicate the need for cybersecurity with your customers. Yeah. Thanks, Dana. Yeah, speaking of that, and here's presenter.
Perfect. So thank you everyone who is here in person, and also to our amazing Teams audience. David is 100% right. I don't think I can match his energy. I don't think anyone really can. So if we can just take a minute and give David a big round of applause, maybe some love hearts on the Teams, because I think he's just really got the energy going for us. So who am I? Yeah, my name's on the screen, channel manager on the MSP team for APJ. So I have worked in the security industry, if you will, partner, DSD, vendor, what have you, in sales and marketing. So a little bit what I wanted to talk to you guys about is take a step back from some of the great examples like David has brought up around your go-to-market strategies and talk about the why. Why and how do we present that big picture to our customers about security? So most of you are, if you're in the industry, you're familiar with Nigel Moore. He does a lot of thought leadership around security within the IT industry. So if we take a minute and just read the quote, most, if not all, businesses that have been hit by a cyber attack, unfortunately, hadn't yet had a conversation with an MSP who felt it was their absolute duty to be wildly confident at passionately selling their amazing cybersecurity offerings. If they had, they very likely would not have become a victim. Now, I don't know anyone who I've met in the MSP industry yet who is not wildly passionate and confident about their cybersecurity offerings. Every single person I talk to is super excited about this opportunity. But I get this all the time. Have you ever explained your security solution in detail just to be told that it sounds great, but I can't justify the cost? So if it's yes, raise your hand, give me a love heart, thumbs up, whatever on Teams, just so I can get a feel for that. Yeah, right? We feel confident. David's giving me a love heart in person. Yeah.
Always lost.
Yes. Yes. And to follow that up, have you ever explained not security, just managed services, non-security products, and had a similar outcome, or has the outcome been different? Different outcome, maybe? Yeah. Same outcome. Okay. Interesting. So that leads to the question then, because that's an interesting observation from you, because most of the time when we ask this conversation or this question in groups, we'll get a different answer. We'll get, yeah, I find it a little bit easier to sell like my productivity or my unified comms or something like that than security. And it's the cost of security, or maybe there's a lack of understanding that they're not able to do that. So which begs the question, when is the easiest time to sell a cybersecurity solution? Anybody? Is there a price?
During
Yes.
active rest.
Yes. Yes. After a breach. And why is that? It's usually because all the things that we try to educate our customers about, they feel it, right? They go, yes, my stuff was at risk. There is a sense of loss. There's an emotional reaction that's happening beyond just a loss of data. But we don't want to wait for every single one of our customers to have a breach, then go sell them the service, because then we're not doing them any favors, right? We're losing out on an opportunity to keep them safe, which is what we're here to do in the industry. So how do we do this? We do it through storytelling. So what stats show is most of you in this room, within an hour after this, you'll remember 50% of what I've talked about. By tomorrow morning, 30%. And in a week, you'll probably remember only 10%. Maybe you'll remember my name. Maybe you'll remember David's awesome
My
name.
memory is that bad.
Yeah. But you're not going to remember most of the stuff I talked about. But if we communicate through stories, research shows that you're 22% more likely to remember than content you just heard as facts or bullet points or a data sheet or text specs. And it creates that emotional connection. And most of us who are talking to our customers, whether it's as service delivery, whether it's as salespeople, whether it's as business owners packaging our services, we want to create that emotional connection with our partners, with our customers. And that's what really kind of helps us give them the products and services that they need. So what this talk's going to talk about today is a book. Has anyone read this by any chance in the room? Okay. Simplified Cybersecurity Sales for MSPs, 60 to 90 minutes to read, takes an hour if you read page to page. I skimmed it, took me about 45 minutes. But what Jennifer Bleem does in this book is she takes the gap selling methodology and applies it for cybersecurity and for MSPs, as it says on the book. So the next couple of slides, we're going to talk about the why is essentially all from the book. So if you read the book, awesome. If you don't, Cliff Notes, versions, cheat sheet, right? So again, yeah, gap selling, that's what we'll talk about. So the first step in gap selling is reveal the gap, right? So what that means for us as salespeople is discovery. So if you see that underlined over there, discovery is for the prospect. Discovery is not for you. You're asking these questions. We're asking leading questions so the customer can understand and can verbalize what their problems are. So we're leading with questions like, again, a lot of the great news stories that David brought up, right? Hey, are you aware there's breaches happening in your industry, in your vertical, right? In your city, suburb, neighborhood, right? I really found it interesting what David brought up about that financial industry one. It seems so big, it seems so out there, but it really does impact, right? Local businesses. If you're banking with NAB, I believe was one of the ones that was impacted, or ANZ, right? So these are opportunities to have those conversations with your customers. This is also a time again, within our team, we talk about things about risk, right? Risk, insurance, compliances. What is the risk appetite for this customer? Have they taken into account what they have at risk within their business? Are they aware of cyber insurance? Are they aware of the compliance requirements within their industry, within their vertical? This is the time to have that conversation. So an example, I think David's were better. This is an old one. Most of you have already seen this, but this is what I have, so we will go with this.
Still big.
Right, it's still big, one of the biggest breaches in ANZ. But if you bring up a story like this to your customer, what you can highlight to them is you may think you have something in place, right? But in Medibank, if you read that, there was a 6-week window when they were getting EDR alerts and they didn't respond to it, right? And if Medibank can miss this, what resources does an SMB have in place to make sure something like this isn't happening? Are they really secure, right? Are they aware that they're not really secure? So now that you've kind of educated that, we move to, this is what I would probably say is the biggest part of this conversation. Fill the gap. There needs to be that emotional connection. This is where that storytelling piece comes in. So what we mean when we talk about this filling the gap is customer is at point A. They have a solution in place. They understand what they've in place. They've invested in it. Because they've invested money in it, there is an emotional connection, right? They made a decision for their business that they feel comfortable about. But you as a specialist, you as a service provider know that it's no longer like good enough. They need to get to point Z. And how do you take them on that journey? How do you make them go, hey, yes, you're emotionally invested in this, but we now need you to go further, to need you to understand the risks. And this is, again, where the storytelling, picking a cyber breach incident that's happened that's relevant to them kind of comes into play. So again, discovery, back to discovery, not for you, it's for the prospect. It's so they can outline what the impact of a breach would mean for their business. So in the book, she talks a lot about getting a business within a room and the different stakeholders and getting finance, sales, marketing to like outline if there was a security incident, how would it impact each of those business functions, right? How would it impact the brand? If the company has a marketing person, have them talk about it, right? And should this happen, this is now a great time to talk about things like incident response. Hey, do you know what you're going to do, right? If you're selling incident response, now's a good time to kind of, bring up your services as well, right? So I already talked about this, so we'll move along. So speaking of storytelling, this is an example we use a lot. So this was sort of a story that Aaron Jacobs, who works in our MDR team, he's the global SecOps person for MDR, he tells a story. So local regional company, so not a Medibank, not an Optus, just a Barrett's trucking company out in North Wollongong. They had a cyber incident, didn't recover, right? Not an unusual story. Most people are like, yeah, so sad. It happens. What can you do? Wouldn't happen to me, though. I'm a dentist in Adelaide. I'm a GP in Brisbane. These are real, by the way. I just looked it up. Recent breaches, like just local small businesses. It happens. But then the story gets worse. So because they're a courier company, they have a lot of credit card data on file. They have customer personal details on them, right? So now law enforcement is investigating them to see, was the data handled properly? So now it's not just the company that's shut down, it's the owner's reputation. This is a company they've built for a long number of years, and now they're being treated like a criminal, like it's a personal reputation at stake. It gets worse. So this courier company, they didn't employ, they hired these truckies, right? So they were freelance contractors, independent contractors, who now own these trucks, but because the company shut down, they don't have a job. They're not getting paid, right? They're out there going, we're sitting on I believe that they said they're on the scrap heap. This is now expanded beyond just the business, beyond a personal reputation, out into the community, right? There are other people whose lives have been impacted by the cyber incident. This is the feeling we want. Like, oh my gosh, what does this mean for me if something were to happen? So this is where now we get to healing the gap, right? So if you've got that emotional connection, if you've got them thinking about beyond just my data's getting stolen, this is now when we can help them move from point A to point Z. So like it says, if you've done the first 2 stages correctly, you should find it easy to heal the gap with your solution. And there was lots of really good examples, right, that David brought up on how you do that. You have things like, hey, customer, now that you're feeling a little overwhelmed by this, how about we take a closer look and help you with that NIST assessment, right? So I personally don't like this line a lot, sell the sizzle, not the steak. It's a bit cringy for those Gen Z in the audience, but there is a lot to it, right? it's still not the time where we talk to them about features. We don't talk to them about technical specifications. We're still capitalizing on that emotional connection and talking about, so what do we do now to keep you safe? What do we do to keep your community safe? And we again go back to risk. We talk about risk, but now how can we mitigate that risk, right? Is it through that NIST assessment? How do we put you in contact with like a cyber insurance specialist and see, hey, what tools do you need, right? Can I help you with those tools? Can I help you with those services? And ultimately, what the customer wants to know is that they are going to be safe. They don't really care what product, and I'm saying this with my Sophos shirt on, they don't really care what product it is that you're putting in front of them. They want the outcome. They want to be educated about what they're buying, like in terms of outcomes again, not features and benefits. And they want to know that they've aligned to something like a compliance framework, right? Talk about NIST over here. I'm going to use what I mean a little bit, like I'm going to eat my own medicine, take my own medicine. I don't know. Does one eat medicine? Doesn't matter. So if I use Sophos here as an example, right, like about our MDR, I think most of you here are familiar with it. This is a slide we present to partners, we present to customers all the time. And I think this is a really interesting slide on how you can keep it simple and high level and communicate a solution that means something to a customer or talk about bullet points. So if you see the points over there, this is something I would present to, let's say, a tech team after they've bought a solution and we're doing an enablement, because I can talk to them about, 24/7 threat detection, expert-led threat hunting. If I'm presenting this to a practice manager or a law firm, we're having a 45-minute conversation about threat hunting, and they really do not care. They do not care what threat hunting is, right? They care about their business at the end of the day. So I don't talk about these bullet points. What I do talk about is what's in that blue box over there, right? 3 circles: people, process, technology, right? Sophos has the technology. The people is you as the IT service provider. You're there to give them that service. And then process, you've developed a plan for them that's going to keep them safe. And yes, MDR is powering that, but they're not interested. They're not interested in the benefits and features of MDR. What they care about is, when I move to this slide, not the 24/7, 365 ransomware and breach prevention services. They are not thinking about ransomware 24/7. I don't know anyone who outside of our industry is. What they are thinking about is what is one less problem they can tick off their box. So I remind them that, yes, maybe there's lots of reasons they can't get to sleep. It's their kids. It's, they got to pay the mortgage, whatever it is. But it's knowing that should there be an incident at night, they have it covered through your services, through Sophos MDR, whatever other solution they have in place. And what did they think about all day? Growing their business. If they're a practice manager, it's running their business. If they, are in manufacturing burgers, like David's example, how do they make more burgers and sell more burgers? That's what they're here to do. And we're here to help keep them safe. And finally, this goes back again to the book. So when you kind of debrief, you're going to ask for the sale before you do that, which again, by the way, I think all of us know this, ask for the sale, even if we know. So I'm going to have to finish with saying, please buy Sophos MDR, but not yet. I'm not going to do that yet. But did you help every person in the room realize there was a gap, right? Did you connect with them emotionally in a way that was important to them to understand why they need to be safe? And how many business implications did you help them internalize? She talks about 2 to 4 ways. Personally, I think that takes like a longer workshop, but if you can at least get marketing, payroll, finance to give you one significant impact to their business, you've usually helped create that connection. And then you ask for the sale by Sophos MDR. So just quickly again, I'm going to take a step back, wait and see if there's any questions. And while we do, I'll tell you a little bit about our team. So we are a specialist MSP team. We work with all the other sellers and channel managers within Sophos. We are here to help in any part of your MSP business. If you need like more sales content, if you need marketing content, if you need to move firewalls, if you need to understand how to do MDR as a service, there's an email on there. Please reach out to us. If you just want to call us and say, we liked your content, please do more workshops. If you want to tell us, I didn't agree with a thing you said, please do so, right? We answer every email. And last but not least, like David mentioned, we do have a special offer for you. I hope you guys like my little play on words, fish for new business. So when we talk about, I'm here all day with the jokes. But when we talk about things like reveal the gap, and this is a really good way for you to then help your customer not just talk about revealing the gap. You can, offer them something like this and see what the security posture is they have within the business. Any questions, David, online, in person?
Seeing you so far. No, thank you. And we'll just mention to the online audience, thank you, Nana. I will leave this screen up for a little bit longer because this is a massive deal for our online audience who have joined this, okay? Thank you, Nana. You did a fantastic job. I really like the sell the sizzle. Not just... I've never heard that before. It's pretty, I don't know. But I wasn't going to admit that on stream. Look, guys, thank you for sticking with us so far. We've got approximately 90 people online now. So thank you so much for joining us. A massive audience online. Thank you for anyone who's constantly joining the room. As you can imagine, inside of a virtual audience, everyone's doing things here and there. So if you're coming in and joining us, thank you so much. But next up is Alvin. Okay, next up is Alvin with some roadmap, some stuff there. Alvin, to me, is the gun, the original gun, the OG, the gangster on the MSP Flex team. He doesn't look it, by the way. If anyone hasn't met him and he comes up on camera, okay, he looks like the most respectable dude in the universe, all right, and the smartest guy ever. But he is the gangster when it comes down to solving your problems when you email the NZ MSP Flex team. But before I come to that, ask us any questions you want. Guys, in about half an hour, your lunch gift cards for Sydney and Melbourne, okay, will be sent to you guys. Lunch is on us, okay? The AMA panel is right here. So if you want the presenter to be asked anything at all, just shoot it inside the questions panel. But huge 90% off on Fish Threat, okay, for your go-to-market. Not only the cybersecurity NIST framework and all those assessment tools and stuff like that, when you can offer them a product that educates the end users in their organization, the Sallys from accounting, the Karens from reception, the Johns from marketing, whoever it is, right? And pick out the ones who are weak in the link of your organization. You can offer it for this much and get them already consuming a product and talking to you. That is so powerful in the go-to-market in 2025, all right? But without further ado, thank you so much, guys, for listening to my head again. Alvin, I welcome you to the stage, my friend.
Thank you. Alrighty. Which screen are we looking at? Cool. All right. So my name's Alvin Chu, part of the MSP Flex team here in the APJ region, same team as Nina, as mentioned before, so I won't do any further introductions about that team. In terms of what we'll be covering today is the tools and resources that are available for the MSPs that we have in the room and also virtually, as we can tell. High level is things like the MDR update letter, the Sophos MDR integrations, cybersecurity NIST and NIST2 assessments, which is what David just mentioned beforehand. So I won't delve too deep into that one there, but it is definitely something I want to bring home for yourselves, mainly because the overall tools and resources available for an MSP is, as mentioned by Nina, showing what you can deliver from a security outcome perspective. Now, I will be talking roughly around the MSP Flex pricing, touching on the cross-sell opportunities, aggregate licenses, and volume-based discounts, and last but not least, some firewall ideas for MSPs. Now, understandably, this is a discussion around the MDR and how to grow your MSP business, but firewalls is a big play for a lot of our MSPs because that is the backbone for a lot of their infrastructure. The MDR opt-out letter is a tool campaign wording. Nowadays, obviously, you can throw some of these words into AI and generate something that can help with that discussion. But this particular MDR opt-out letter is as you build that business for your customers and that security stands that you want to imbue for all your MSA contracts that you have for them, you want to make sure that they have a baseline. You don't want to go the cheapest just because one's bending this way, one's bending that way. You need to be able to stand up for what particular cybersecurity posture you want to set for your customers. This particular one here is a template that we have on the Sophos partner portal for all of you who have access to the partner portal. You'll be able to download that. This is an MDR opt-out letter, but you can rephrase it and make it an opt-in letter, depending on your clientele as well. And we've seen a lot of partners have a bit of success. Let me just go back one screen. Have a lot of success around this because it means that you're taking security for themselves very seriously. You're not going to be just putting, a break fix solution for them. And then it'll be your name on the line in case something does happen if you're having 50 different solutions for the same endpoint sort of customer at the end of the day. Now, in terms of Sophos XDR MDR integrations, these are the ones that we have right now. Now, we understand that some of your customers may already be using a variety of these endpoint firewall, network, email solutions. The reason why we bring this up here is, as an MSP, we understand it's not a straight away, chop and change sort of thing. You may have time that your customers are using something that you want to sort of extend their capabilities and utilize Sophos XDR and MDR solutions to be able to ingest that telemetry and contextualize that for them for threat hunting or better visibility to achieve better cybersecurity outcomes for them moving forward. And the reason why we have this here is more to do with, this is actually growing, and I'll be talking about this a little bit more when we talk about the updates and the roadmaps coming up as well. But this is something to do with making sure that whatever your customer does have, we try and play nicely with all parties. Naturally, we may see some vendor names that you may work with, which are not on there, but as you understand with integrations, it takes two to tango, so we do need to make sure the other parties are happy to play along. Now, this particular image here is talking about how we are ingesting third-party telemetry from the respective outside vendors. And the reason why we collect it, contextualize it, and correlate it is so that the MDR team can help with better visibility of your customer's environment and better remediation, identifying those particular threats. During the update section of it, I will touch on some of the things that will be coming along with what your customers may be interested in, namely on things like 365, response actions and whatnot. But this particular item I won't spend too much time on, but more importantly, we want to touch on this. Now, understandably, as mentioned by Nina before, you want to sell Sophos MDR, but it's more to do with what is actually involved in the particular solutions. And the reason why we excuse that, just in case you heard an ambulance, it's not for this presentation.
It's okay.
In terms of this is we've got two flavors of the Sophos MDR. We've got the MDR Essentials, which can also be interpreted as the Sophos MDR for Microsoft Defender, but you could replace that word for webroot, malware bytes, whatever endpoint solution it is. It's more to do with the Sophos MDR can be an extension to whatever existing endpoint protection may be in place. But naturally, if you do have this license, you already can have the Sophos endpoint protection agent in there. But having this particular comparison, it gives you a better visibility of what is the baseline that you're trying to offer from a 24/7 service with Sophos. Both of them are top-notch sort of solutions here. In terms of the differences with the Sophos MDR is the full-scale incident response, dedicated incident response lead, and also the Sophos breach protection warranty. At the end of the day, a lot of our partners are looking at the Sophos MDR Essentials, mainly because one, value, two, it is our core MDR solution. MDR Complete is more the and then some sort of offering where it does have the dedicated full-scale incident response and the breach protection warranty embedded into it. Reason why we mentioned this here, and I'm staying on this for a little bit more, is more to do with having that particular conversation with your customer, understanding, using the NIST assessment tool that I mentioned by David before, understanding where is it that, where can we fill that particular gap that they have, understanding, what is it that you can present from a monthly reporting and a weekly reporting perspective to make sure that they get that assurance that these particular solutions are working for them in the long term. Now, this is the particular cybersecurity assessment for the NIST cybersecurity framework and the NIST 2 directive compliance assessment. Both of them are available, as mentioned by David, assessment.gse at .sophos.com. You'll be able to take those and develop that particular report and show them visually where they sit from a compliance perspective. And as mentioned by Nina, you might be understanding think about the RIC, which is a risk, how you can transfer it from an insurance perspective, and also what sort of compliance are they trying to adhere to from a global perspective as well. We're touching on this particular MSP Flex pricing at the moment, mainly because I want to remind everyone in the room, MSP Flex partners, this particular MSP Flex program is an aggregate licensing model where we don't matter if it is a customer with 1 license or if you have customers with 1,000 licenses, they all roll up and add up to you. And that particular benefit adds up to what we call the volume-based discounts due to these tier pricing. As part of this particular offer that we have today, which is the 90% off for 3 months of the fish threat. That particular usage, yes, it will be discounted, but it will add towards things like your user licenses. And the more licenses that you have in each of the respective categories, the per unit per month of that goes down as well. Naturally, some of those finance and accounts team may be wondering, okay, how do we commercialize this? How do we scale this? And you could have, customers from an SMB space, MMB space, or even an enterprise space, and that will add up to you, and that number keeps growing, and you get that better buy price for yourself. How you want to commercialize it, how much you want to put on top, how little you want to do on top, completely up to you. Okay. Now, we're going to be pivoting a little bit over to the firewall side, mainly because a big part of your conversations that you have with your customers is their backbone. Understanding what sort of infrastructure that they have, what sort of security they have for their most valued resources internally as well. And this Sophos firewalls, there are a few ways to procure and acquire it. Most commonly is the all CapEx model, where your customer owns the hardware, they own the license, buy it for 3 years. I'm sure many of you in the room have seen many promos that we've had over the years for those 3-year deals, and we still do have that. And that is a full CapEx where the customer pays all up front, and that's a big initial outlay that they may have. Second option is a CapEx OpEx arrangement, where the customer owns the hardware and they come to you for your managed services. They come to you for managing all their firewalls, endpoints, or the RMM tools, and they go, yep, great. Can you put the license on it as well on a monthly basis? So they can split that out over time, and their accounts and finance team may love them a little bit more for that because they don't have to fork out 3 years upfront in one go. And last but not least, which is the full OpEx model. This is where the partner or the MSP owns and acquires the hardware themselves, and they also put an MSP license for their customer. As part of their MSA or managed service agreement with them, they might go, well, we're going to lease the hardware to you for this much. We're going to put the license for there. We're going to have a management cost around that as well. And this is going to be all an OpEx arrangement. Now, naturally, there is a initial outlay for yourselves, but typically with these OpEx arrangements, you would have a few, you would already have a feel for what size of a firewall your customers, your SMB space, MMB space would be looking at already, and you might have a few ready to roll and get them deployed. And typically when you purchase them in bulk, there may be a promotion or two or discount available for those types of arrangements. And this is what I was alluding to. This is where you would be able to purchase multiple firewalls in one go and be able to have 50% off the hardware itself. And this is, again, leaning into that conversation about having not only your customer security posture addressed, but also being able to maximize your profitability out of it. Because from a firewall perspective, a lot of our MSPs who are using this program, they'll be putting enough particular cost margin running setup fees for your customers to be able to make and pay off this piece of hardware within the next 6 to 9 months. Previously, it was about 9 months before this promo, but with a 50% promo discount, we've seen a lot of our MSPs be able to pay off the hardware within like a 6-month period. And you can imagine thereafter, it is pure profit as such. So not only is it securing them, but also growing their particular profitability as an MSP. And for those of you who are online who can read this small font, we do have the Gen 2 XGS 88, 108, 118, 128 non-wireless models also included in this promotion as well. We've just updated that and we've extended this promo until the 31st of March 2025, which is a date that I will delve into very shortly when we talk about updates as well. Now, what's new and coming soon? We are going to be talking about some of the updates around the Sophos MDR report enhancement, the Sophos Firewall operating system v21, XGS Gen 2, and some of the enhancements around backup restore as well. First and foremost, the Sophos MDR XDR SFOS v20 ATR, which is the active threat response. This is where the MDR team are able to feed a particular rule into the firewall in the event that there is a threat detected on the managed endpoints, and that will allow it to, for example, block C2 attacks from the firewall level rather than hitting up every particular endpoint under it. So it's much more broad strokes to be able to address that and initiate the active threat response, and also it stops the lateral movement available for that particular attacker. And the reason why we touch on active threat response from V20, although we're on V21 already, is because part of V21, we've introduced third-party threat feeds, which allows you to be able to put threat feeds that you and your team and your security SecOps team are all utilizing for compliance purposes. For example, in the top left, we've got the government and finance. We've also got the regional compliance, we've got specialized vertical markets, and also existing customers and partner solutions. And some of these verticals and categories allows you to be able to focus your threat feeds specifically to them. For example, we've got here things like the Dragos, the Nazimi, the Circlu, the Certain. These ones may be something that your customers' environments and also their regions are needing them to comply with, because they might have a certain cybersecurity address, like something that they might have to address from a cybersecurity insurance perspective. And these are ways that you can use a third-party threat feeds to be able to block it from a V21 active threat response perspective. Some of the enhancements around the Sophos MDR reports are now available on the partner dashboard. It's always been here. However, enhancements, what we're talking about here is things that you as a partner can see all your MDR customers, what their general feel for the response modes are happening, any particular integrations that's happening as well, their average account health score. And this is important for you because you may want to make sure that your customers are at least in the top 70 to 100% account health score. And if it isn't, you might want to see why that's the case. We talk about the different escalations and detections and cases, so at least your immediate team internally from an MSP perspective would understand, okay, where do we need to focus on? Maybe there's a customer which is triggering a lot more alerts and we might need to review their account a little bit earlier and whatnot. This particular monthly report also reflects on the different types of MITRE attack frameworks as well that the MDR team has detected. And this is mainly for presenting to your own internal team. However, there is individual customer level MDR reports that you can share with your customers as well as part of your monthly catch-ups with them to make sure that their cybersecurity posture is up to check. Now, this one here, this particular central SSO fasts and opens in new tabs. I'm not sure if we can play this video, but as part of the V21 update on the Sophos firewalls, it allows a much faster login into the Sophos firewalls. And let me see if this works. So on the left-hand side, whilst this plays along, there's no audio to it. On the left-hand side is the new SSO, and on the right-hand side is the current SSO. Once you've clicked on the new one, it only takes like 10-15 seconds for that to load up. For those of you who are on the call and have been using Sophos firewalls, you may have felt the pain in terms of how long some of these have taken to load, and I can see a few smirks in the room. And the other thing is a lot of your MSPs would be using the, this is the right-hand side is still loading. Yeah.
Especially if you're managing multiple files.
Yeah, so on that note about managing multiple firewalls, now with the V21 as a Sophos partner on your partner dashboard, you'll be able to click on it and it will actually open in a brand new tab. So you can hit up multiple firewalls in one go. And that's already now available. It's a little window and I'll show it in the demo part later on. And it's much easier, as you can tell, just under a minute for the other one to load. But it is definitely a game changer for a lot of our MSPs to be able to scale and manage multiple firewalls at a time. Not only is this available for MSPs through the partner dashboard, obviously if a customer has their own management in their central account, they can do the same thing, but this is mainly for firewalls running V21. And the reason why I stress that is V21 is only available for XGS, and that's also something I'll allude to very shortly, which is the Gen 2 stuff, which is our XGS. So the reason why we talk about the XGS Gen 2, not only is it a few new SKUs, which it's great distribution. They have to add a bunch more SKUs into their price book, but it's more to do with the enhancements that we've got on it. The new silent operation for all the 88s, 108s, 118s, and the 128s. So this is great for those particular customers who have a small office and they put their firewall in the middle of like next to the printer or something like that, and they don't want a box that's just whirring, which is exactly what that aircon is doing right now. And they are wanting that silent operation. It's fanless, and the other thing is it's more power efficient. Again, electricity nowadays, when you're running these on load and whatnot, it's not too much, but at least it is consuming much less power. It's a lot more higher performance from that particular size of a firewall as compared to its predecessor. All of them have built-in Wi-Fi 6 and they run concurrently. For yourselves who have been using Sophos XG and XGS firewalls in the past, you probably remember the wireless models, they would either run one or the other, not both at the same time. So this is perfect for those SMB spaces where they are needing only a few people in the office and they want a Wi-Fi model and they know both frequencies are immediately supported and can run concurrently. We've got the enhanced acceleration of virtual fastpath for IPsec VPN from the Sophos V21. It's, in a nutshell, it's faster, powerful, and uses less power as such. It's got 2.5 gigabit interfaces in every single model. So for those of you who have customers, yes, they are moving up to gigabit on their WAN, but they may need it for their LAN, as evidenced by one of our partners here. They are growing one of their customers here, and they have that particular internal need. Maybe they've got a security camera and they've got some servers, they've got some backups that they have to have a much faster WAN connection on the internal, as well as the dual 10 gig SFP plus fiber interfaces for the XGS 138. Now, all this is well and good. Let me just make sure that that is transitioning over. The reason why we talk about all these XGSs, or my mention of the V21, the Sophos V20 stuff, is because the XG devices are coming end of life, 31st of March, 2025. And it does come a time when, we're, as David mentioned, we're less than 30 days away from Christmas. We're less than 4 months away from end of life. So it does come a time where you have to sort of evaluate how and when are you going to be moving this for your customers, and want to make sure that that particular migration path is suitable and actually doable. This particular firewall backup and restore enhancement was introduced in the V20 MR2 update, which allows them to be able to port map to make sure that moving from a XG115 to an XGS 126 would be much better. But this is a particular tool that's available for the partner portal, and you can go through that and make that assessment as well. Now, on the roadmap, let's speed through this part here. We've got the MDR proof of value that should be coming up in the Q1 next year, calendar year. That would allow a bit more reporting and telemetry around the peacetime offerings in the event that there is nothing happening. You still want to know what the team has been doing from an efforts and a reporting and detection perspective. So they go, okay, this is what's been happening, no major incidents, so they can get on from there. As part of the Sophos Managed Risk offering, SMR, the internal attack service management, that is coming in the Q2 of calendar year 2025. For those of you on the call as MSPs, Managed Risk will be coming later on as well, which is in Q3. We anticipate for that to be having both the external attack service management, which is already what we have, plus the internal attack service management ready by the time it gets released on MSP Flex, which should be Q3. Calendar year 2025. Into the bottom part here, which is the XDR MDR integrations, we've got updates. We should be getting integrations for the Ubiquity around the log collector, pulling IPS security alerts, Jamf Protect for EV part of the Jamf MDM in Q4 calendar year 2024, which is this quarter, Cato Networks, and also Microsoft. Now, some of these are still in beta, so if you are wanting to participate in this, reach out. We'll be able to connect you with the respective team so that they can bring you into the fold of that EAP of them. But focusing on the Microsoft stuff, I think we want to look at this where we are two of them. The bottom one's probably a little bit more fun, where we're talking about new endpoint APIs. there'll be a 3+3 in the sense that we'll first have 3 APIs, and then afterwards we'll follow up with another 3 new APIs where it's mainly around the Entra ID components so that it gets more telemetry around the user risks and also the compromised accounts. But leading into that is actually the M365 response actions, where this is actually a partner control. You could either have us action it or not, but this allows us to disable compromised M365, revoke existing signed-in sessions, disable suspicious inbox rules if it's a compromised mailbox, and this should be coming in Q1 calendar year 2025. Now, this is important because a lot of the current integration that we have available is ingesting it. We can see it, we can stop it on the endpoint and stop that particular action. But the M365 response actions that will be coming soon, early next year, will allow further reach and also control, again, alleviating some of that particular responsibility from the MSP so that they don't have to disable that. Yes, question?
Is that going to require a change of integration?
That will be an additional integration as part of the API. So right now we have V1, V2 APIs and also graph security. So it'll be another little box next to it as well. And that's pretty much it from me. So yeah, if you have any questions, let me know, but I will pass the mic and present it back to David.
Thanks so much, Alvin. That was fantastic. Yes, big clap to Alvin. Some awesome stuff coming up in the roadmap, guys. Lots of cool things presented. We're going to take a quick intermission because the panel's up next. So any of our in-person audience are welcome to get some refreshments, take a break. We're going to come back in 10 minutes and set up the panel, right, and get some expertise from a gold level partner who's actually been going to MDR really, really successfully, okay? While you guys are welcome to, of course, go take a break and come back in 10 minutes, I'll be revisiting just a few things on the screen. So please, welcome, guys, go ahead for my in-person audience, grab some refreshments, and I'll be talking to the online audience just a little bit about the feedback form, which was initially presented. Yeah, that's right. While we're waiting for that 10-minute intermission, guys, everyone online who's just joined, everyone's from multiple time zones, so we get it. Fill in that feedback form, that workshop form. It's prompting you about your next year's goals and such, okay? So, in order to be a part of the Lucky Draw Prize, in order to win a lot of our stuff here, fill in that feedback form. Yes, it's a bit about ANZ MSP Flex, but there's a bunch of promos on there that we want you guys, we need to contact you guys about and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, be back in 10 minutes, guys. Grab yourself a coffee. We'll have a panel real soon, okay? Welcome back, everyone. It is fantastic to see each and every single one of you again. Online, we have a 90-person attendance. And of course, in person, we have an amazing, astounding group of guests here. And my pleasure today is to be able to introduce you guys to our fantastic partners who have absolutely rocketed through the ranks of Sophos partners with their success in the managed detection and response space. I'd like to introduce you to Jai and Chris from CORP IT. How are you guys doing?
Pretty well.
No, fantastic,
Great to
guys.
be here.
Yeah, definitely.
Looking forward to it.
I've just switched over the screen. Jai is our CORP IT solutions architect, well, from CORP IT, rather. And Chris is a security and solutions specialist, but he's also a Sophos Alpha Elite, if anyone doesn't know that. So we've got royalty in the room, okay? And how many certifications do you have? Yeah, Chris.
In the realm of 80.
In the realm of 80 certifications.
Yeah.
Holy
Or
crap.
that I've run deltas and all the different bits and pieces in the partner training portal.
Wow, man. You're a holy Bible right now of just Sophos knowledge. And I appreciate that. I respect that so much. It's not everyone that goes around, getting all that knowledge and all that certification or to be a master of their craft, right? Over on my right-hand side of the room at the end is also Alvin, right? The senior channel account manager from the NZMSP team from Sophos. So welcome to the room, of course, Alvin. How you doing?
Well, thanks. Just saw you 5 minutes ago.
This is for the camera, guys. This is for the camera. Anyway, I will grab one of those mics just to make sure that I've got something. So you guys kindly share that between yourselves. This presentation, this panel is going to be recorded by our amazing filmographer over here, Adam. So wave to the camera, guys. It's fantastic to see you guys for posterity, for the rest of the future on the internet. That's not a scary thing. It's a good thing. It's a good thing, right? So currently today, I've got a few questions in order to make sure that we're delivering to our partners, other partners in the channel community, okay, something that is going to give them value and help the channel community grow. Because you guys have gotten to this point in time right now where you're so successful, right? I hear amazing, great things about you guys every single day, almost, okay, every single day in the Sophos partner community and in Sophos about the great cybersecurity outcomes that you deliver to your clients, okay, using, of course, MDR. But first, I want to ask some questions about framing how your business grew, the challenges, the benefits, of growing, the hurdles, the positive stuff, and the target audience that you decided to go. Like, how did you do it? Like, tell us, right? Online and in person. Okay? Don't reveal all your secrets. I'm not here in order to hunt for that, but I do want to snip it in order to help out the channel community, the IT channel community. So the first question off the rank is, how has Sophos played a role in growing your business?
So we've been a Sophos partner for about 13 years. We were actually part of the Astaro product, which is their original firewall that then became SG, that then became XG, and now XGS. But more recently, what we basically, about 2.5 years ago, we started an idea that we knew cybersecurity would be at the core of our business, and we started to look at our business functions and how that works and what cybersecurity really meant to us. Looking at frameworks, looking at everything that we had. And when we kind of looked at all the different capability, we realized that only Sophos really met our requirement for having something to deal with everything. Endpoint, hardware, the actual firewall, the capability for them to all use synchronized security, then flowing on from that into the MDR complete product set that actually delivered something that we knew we would never get internally, which is the ability to be able to have that eyes on and capability to actually respond after hours. I'm not going to run up. I've costed it out. I'm going to run up a SOC. I'm not going to run up a 24/7 team.
You don't want to train someone to be overnight at 4 a.m. looking at alerts and respond to them.
I literally looked at it.
Yeah.
We started down that path. We started to look at seriously running up a 24/7 SOC and capability around it, and the cost was just exponential, not viable at all. So something like this had to be done. But when, especially 2 years ago, when we started this journey, we needed someone that would respond. I can't be clear enough. It's not okay to acknowledge the event. It's something that we needed where yeah, okay, cool. They found out about the event at 2 a.m. and they told our team at 2 a.m. But they didn't do anything about it because we had to do something about it at 8 a.m. when my team started. No, that isn't good enough. In a security event, I needed something to happen right then and there. And so that remediation piece for us was key for the MDR complete componentry, where we gave authority for Sophos to shut down that endpoint, lock down that user, prevent the action from being able to move vertically or horizontally throughout the network. Like, it was a big deal for us.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much how I feel too. The big thing was sleeping at night. Needing someone to be able to, as a security guy, like it's me, it's my bread and butter. I really have had some challenges with some of the incidents that we've had over the years, and being able to get some peace of mind. And with MDR Complete, that helps me get there. We looked at some of the other vendors out there; they wouldn't own the outcome, and I think for me that was huge in the transition to getting us to where we are, and then helping me sleep at night.
I love how you prioritize the sleep right now, Matt. But you mentioned a few other cybersecurity incidents, and I don't expect you guys to, delve right into it, right? But what was it like, just before MDR? Do you have a quick story or something like that? I've heard some wild stuff in the field. Okay. But was it a breach? Was it like, just a scare? Was it an alert that, ruined your sleep? Chris, what was it?
There's been a lot of little ones where it's just like there's persistence, and they've been in there like watching, waiting for the correct time to pounce, knowing that would be taken care of now with the 365 integrations. They see all those dodgy mailbox rules that get made.
Enterprise applications now.
Yeah, enterprise applications being breached, like famous applications that people are bringing into their 365 tenants. And if the tenant is not configured, end users can just tick the box to say, yes, I consent to this. That app then gets breached, and then they're exfiltrating data out of 365 with that. That was an eye-opener for us.
Yeah. So the MDR team seeing via the integration, the mailbox rules being created or edited or something. That's
not just the mailbox rules. So in Azure, you've got enterprise applications, which are basically what is allowed to connect to your tenant and use your data within your M365 tenant or your clients, obviously. We've found this is a new attack vector, but it's very rarely looked at because it's so invisible. A user consents to it. You never see it. They are in there and they have persistence. So not only do they get your mail, but they can access the contacts. They can start accessing data sets because it's all approved, right? To be able to identify that and stop it when it occurs was the part that we didn't even know was happening prior to MDR being able to look at that. Another story is that very early days, I was messing around on my computer. We obviously run the full stack as well. I decided that I would promote myself. I'm trying to do some PowerShell scripting, so I'm going to use PS exec, and I'm going to run into very techie stuff, but jumping into a system console for PowerShell. I lasted all of 10 seconds before it disappeared off of my desktop, and I went, what just happened? Did I break something? And then within another 10 seconds, I had a call. Hi, Jai, are you trying to break your own security? Yes. Well, we don't like that, so we're just going to turn that off. It's the MDR team calling me saying, you've got a security incident, right? This is unusual behavior. This is unacceptable. And for me, that was an eye-opener to, I may be acting as an admin on my desktop, but those types of roles and permissions that we've always had and done as MSPs are obviously very bad, right? And to prevent that immediately without me even considering it, and then to have someone call me about it and say, these were the actions that were taken, this is why it looked dodgy. That's what we're looking for protection. That's how you sleep at night.
Nice, man. No, that sounds good. The fact that the MDR team call you within, did you mention it's like 30 seconds? 30 seconds, right? Yeah. Okay. Well, it's pretty impressive, right? I know that the time to detect is less than a minute for these guys, but the fact that they called, right? I think that's pretty impressive. right? It's a good testament to what they're doing at Surface and helping Chris sleep, of course. Yeah, he's got 2 kids. I know.
I was like, he's got young kids, so he absolutely needs to sleep.
100%, 100%. Look, I guess that was fantastic here as an introduction. The next question, I'm going to skip one of the questions I had because you've already answered it. Okay, how did you prioritize your technology stack as an MSP? Because that's a big one for a lot of MSPs these days, consolidating efficiency in the stream of what they deliver into market, and of course manage. Right? Do you guys have any tips on that, just for the audience?
I think for me, Sophos being so agnostic and willing to work with everyone and listen to what the market is. Like Joe touched on, we were a Star Security Gateway vendor. That's all we sold for our edge. Then they got acquired by Sophos. Then we started doing HP switching and Unify access points. Sophos brought those to market, filled the gap that we had. Just bringing everything that we need to do. We can just drop an entire Sophos stack in there and the client is happy. They know that it's all in the one managed Sophos central tenant. They all talk to each other. You got your synchronized security doing its bit. It's really helped simplify things as we're trying to grow as a business as well. It makes it very easy to bring new guys on and get them up to speed with, this is what we do. This is the flavor of Kool-Aid that we drink and we sell. And that's pretty much it.
Right, okay. So drop in stack, right? Okay, fantastic.
I mean, he makes it sound really easy. Prioritizing your technology is both about meeting your requirements as an MSP and then also meeting your client's requirement for their actual business outcomes, right? Our technology stack, as I said, we've been developing it for our cybersecurity componentry for 2.5 years, is really what it's taken us to. And we're very much, everything is like, we eat it first. We are going to live and breathe it first. So we have constantly pushed the barrier of what we are allowed to do and how it works and what doesn't work prior to us enabling that for our clients, setting our new baselines. And I'll tell you straight away, our clients hate some of that. But what we've done is that we've solidified what our technology stack looks like, how it works and what doesn't, and then also what is covered and what isn't, right? I think we would have spent 6 months just evaluating one tool, right? You shouldn't be going into these things lightly. You're building a business practice around it. And if you're not taking the time, I would spend it on that always up front rather than doing it post and being like, oh, I didn't do this, doesn't do that. Whoops, we can't cover. Like, that's not good enough. By the time you've sold it, then you've missed that opportunity to really bed that into what it needs to do.
Right. 6 months evaluating tool. That's quite a long time. Like, I'm, hearing this, and as a person, everyone's so agile these days. Everyone's so, eager to go to market and stuff. The fact that you took the quality time to assess, right, evaluate, and do that, it's I respect that. But man, that's a long time. Is there a reason why you chose, 6 months for a technology? Perhaps, just
because it's not just technology; it's process and people, right? By the time we've gotten the tech in and we're like, oh yeah, we think it's meeting the expectation, then we've got to train the people. Then we have to understand what that process is, that we're going to deliver the same outcome every time. I think people rush into, I know in my peer group, some people are like tech people and I'm technical first, right? I love it. And we buy tools. We love them. We go buy it. It's done. For every dollar we spend on that tool, I'm spending another dollar on trying to get my staff to embed it into the business. I'm probably spending more on that, to be honest. And so selecting the wrong tool is a much worse case, than trying to spend the time to integrate it correctly into our team.
right.
And then again, that's the idea of consolidation once again. The reason we chose Sophos as our primary cybersecurity partner was because of Sophos Central. It was the goal of bringing everything into that one house so that when my staff are looking at security componentry, they're looking at one console. They have all of their alerts on one console. We do a lot of work where I drive that data set into our RMM and our PSA for integration pieces to make sure that not only is that done from a componentry for alerting and capability and all of that, but also billing and commercial outcomes to make sure that we're, doing our reconcilement and things like that. It's really important to get these things right up front. Otherwise, it just ends up costing you or the client.
Right. I think that's definitely a good point. The time and the effort, because what it will cost you in the long run. Alvin right now has been super quiet, but he's basically just like, everything's already done for me. I don't have to say much. But just speaking of the technology stack and extending the question to you, Alvin, right? Inside of the Sophos world, you guys pride yourself on, a streamlined one platform unification, right? But what else is coming out in terms of the roadmap or technology that speaks to the stack? And, I heard managed risk is a good one.
Yeah.
To talk about.
So right now we do have managed risk available for external attack surface management. On MSP, not yet. We are waiting for the internal attack surface management to be available, which should be in Q2, calendar year 2025. And then it will be on MSP Flex thereafter in Q3 2025. And that, for those of you who have not had a look at the Sophos Managed Risk offering, that is the vulnerability assessment tool powered by Tenable that we partnered with. And that will be soon available on MSPs to help, again, as mentioned by Jai, to help fill that gap. But again, it may not be overnight. It's not the latest shiny tool. It may take 6 months for them to build that into the stack and build that into your offering as well, because you want to make sure that you've got the tools, the people, and the processes all working in tandem to make sure that you're setting a good standard from a cybersecurity posture perspective for that. Love you. Got up there. Thanks, guys.
I may be able to replace my vulnerability tool. Get that.
I won't ask what it is right now. But look, that was the benefits, that was the positives. But let's talk about some more negative things, right? As you grow inside a business, you're always going to face hurdles. You're always going to face troubles, right? You're always going to face things that block you from growth. All right. What were some of the things that you faced, coming up inside of the market with MDR or as an MSP in general, right? Let's ask in general, just to help everyone out there in the audience. Okay. And how did you resolve them? No troubles at all.
no troubles ever. No, that's not what MSP is about. We're all about dealing with problems. So I think the biggest problem that we've always had is I personally hate selling through fear. Right? That's not a goal set of mine. I don't believe in it. I believe that we want to ensure that we're meeting our clients' needs and our business requirements. What I've found is that we're actually not strong enough in our messaging. We have entered this new world, and obviously, I want everyone on our top stack. I want us to get there. And I'll be clear, we're not moving fast enough. And from everyone else in the industry, I hear we're not moving fast enough. We are not getting this message to market quick enough to have people take the risk seriously. In line with that, we have had a massive security incident recently. Not Sophos MDR covered, but we're dealing with the pain of that. And that has been another call to action for our entire team to change our security culture, our cybersecurity culture, and start talking to our clients properly about that. Because again, I feel like we can all do better in this space and really start getting through to our clients. Hey, it was about 2 years ago where we really needed to take another step further, and yes, it costs more. We get that. We understand. We've been paying for it for 2 years internally. We understand where these costs come from, but we're here to help you. And the comparison is that you have a security incident and we spend a month recovering your business. What does that look like for you? How dangerous is that for you?
No, that's wild, man. It's wild to hear that the messaging that that is so clear inside of this industry specifically, right? We hear it day in and day out. Cybersecurity, ransomware hacks and stuff like that.
I think it's clear
for
within ourselves, but we're not getting it for them. We're not making it strong enough for them. They're not hearing us at all. When we spoke to our clients, they're literally still, they're like, oh yeah, but you deal with all that. That's all your problem.
Yeah.
And that's the MSP problem, right? We're dealing with this every day and our clients look at us like, hey, no, you have our security handled. And I'm like, whoa, okay, all right, let's reset the conversation. Here's where you're at now. This is our new baseline. And if you're really serious about it, it looks like this.
Yeah.
We're doing this for ourselves. Are you going to get here, or where do you want to align on that? And that's a big conversation for them to kind of get their head around. And again, we're changing that conversation. We're storytelling. Those are really good, helpful things, but it's a long process in educating clients on this.
You covered both cost and risk. The risk side of it. Oh, you take care of that, right? Yeah. Oh, everything's on you. No, it's not. we can help with some of these tools. Oh, but now it costs too much. I don't want that. Well, then you own the risk. Oh no, but I don't want the risk. Okay, then you have the cost.
It's a never-ending cycle.
It's the loop that we're going through. So yeah, that.
No, fair enough.
But I would say like we're getting better at it, right? Like we've now changed the way we're talking about it. And I mean, it's why we are pushing more MDR, right? Because that's part of it. We don't sell MDR complete. We sell cybersecurity and we give them this new baseline, and that's part of it, right? Sell the services rather than the actual products themselves.
Awesome. So it's the messaging, of course, clients coming on board and being completely new, rather exposed to that. No, that is an interesting take. It is an interesting proposition that, before we hit the next question, any tips, right? Because this is a struggle we all face. Everyone online, everyone in person, right? It's a struggle we're all facing about messaging, right? And I will ask about how you honed in on specific clients in the next question, just to preface it. But do you have any tips on helping the general audience as IT channel professionals trying to protect our clients on delivering that message further, benefiting the client, right? Oh, you, buddy.
Okay. So for me, the idea is that the messaging needs to be simple, but it needs to resonate strongly, right? Our issue with is always been recommend, but not enforce. I don't particularly think that that's the best messaging for this particular topic anymore. I don't think it's strong enough. And what we're basically saying now is this is our new baseline. You will come to this. There is a deadline for it. And if you don't, we will waiver you in the first instance. And the long-term component is that you can't be a client because we're not going to wear that risk on your behalf, right? The cost that we're talking about is hundreds of thousands in security incidents, right? Maybe millions, depending on your client size. These are not small risks to take on, and I'll be clear, I don't want to wear them as an owner of an MSP, and I don't want my clients to experience them. The only way they're going to get there is through owning that story and telling them about that risk properly. So
sharing the responsibility.
Well, always, right? I don't understand my client's data. I understand the importance of their data, and I can kind of draw an idea of what the impact cost is of that data being gone or missing, right? But really, they're the only ones that know. We can draw, I've done some calculations like head count, data amount, blah, 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 blah. That's not the true cost. Your clients understand what their impact of cost is. Once they start to realize that, then you say, hey, for like 5%, 2% of that, we can prevent it. We can stop it. We can mitigate a lot of this issue. We'll also train your staff. We'll get them better. We'll prevent it, from ever happening in the first place. We're going to get these goalposts in place. And again, like NIST, CIS, ASD, like an essential A. I don't care which framework you get to in region. I will say for an MSP in the ANZ region, the ASD Essential A and New Zealand's one. If you're talking to your clients, trying to talk to them about those because they understand those. They will never understand CIS and NIST because our original journey was we wanted technical excellence. We went to CIS and it's complex, it's expensive, it's really good, but it's not viable. So
No appetite for it in the market.
yeah, there's no appetite for that extreme, high level of requirement and cost associated with it to deliver on it. Yeah,
I agree. Thanks for that, guys. That was really helpful. Hope everyone on the online is finding some insight out of this. If you have any particular questions, right, and I'll just say that during the middle of this panel, if you have any particular questions, you're more than welcome to paste them into the Q&A panel, okay? Or if anyone in person audience, just put your hand up, more than welcome to ask some questions along the way, right? But speaking of, the messaging not coming across to the whole end user base that we got, we have to service as MSPs, right? How did you decide on a particular target market to hone in on? What was the thing that prompted you to go let's go for this? Because at the end of the day, we have to grow a business. You have to sustain, you got to keep the lights on, right? And roofs above your head and stuff, right? Where did you go and why did you think of that?
So for our target client profile, it actually changed with our cybersecurity because we actually now measure the maturity of the client itself. right? Not only we don't deliver to any particular vertical, but I care that our clients are educated, they're on board, they are a partner with us. They need to have a certain maturity level to understand the things that we are trying to talk about, not technical things, just what the risks and the mitigations and the componentry around it is, right? As the MSP evolves and morphs, we're now doing more. It's not lights on, it's not, looking after patching and endpoints and all that. We're now doing data with them. We're doing Power BI, we're doing, Power Automate, we're doing flows and all of that, forms and all that sort of stuff with them. And that's kind of evolving as our clients see this old MSP model slip out, where we just kind of kept the lights on, to this new kind of componentry where we're providing more insights and data analytics and capability to them. If they've got that maturity to kind of understand that that's where we can take them, and to be clear, if I have to drop the AI, then we'll say it.
You went pretty far without saying it.
I know,
Yeah.
but it's big, right? AI is driving it even harder, right? For the most part, MSPs have always been, we don't know your data, we don't want to know your data, we never want to know your data. Hey, a modern MSP needs to understand their client's data, right? You need to get involved. And what we've seen from the reaction, the maturity within our client set, if they are with us on that journey, that conversation they see from us is incredibly different, right? They finally get something that they want out of it. It's not just risk mitigation and keeping lights on. It's also, hey, we just saved 2-3 FTEs, whatever that, we can repurpose them into something that's valuable. You've provided this outcome for our, that's massive. That's a big change and a consultant kind of change that we're seeing in the MSP, and it's relatively new, but we think that the more mature clients are going to start to see this more and more, and they're going to want it more and more.
That's fantastic. The evolution, I think I was most interested in the evolution of that old MSP into this new model, like one that, that is understanding of the data and the way that things are accessed and everything revolving around that. Yeah. And I hope that that old MSP model keeps continuing to just disappear, because more value is added by being, in this newer model, like what you mentioned. So I'm glad. Look, when you were targeting that particular market, or those mature clients or ones that you deemed were successful in your profiling, right? Like, what was the most requested, the most popular service, right? What was the the thing that they wanted the most out of all of your services, for example?
I know this is a chat about MDR, but it's possible. It's always fun.
Yeah.
AV is probably second, running Sixer and giving them the opportunity to uplift into MDR with 2 clicks of the button, I think, in the partner portal.
2 clicks.
Yeah. Then when they get that security questionnaire from their insurance company that says, do you have MDR? They can tick the box and it can be turned on. And then they go, yes, we have it now. And we generally try and keep it there and leave it on after that point.
That'd be good.
Just leave it on after that. Isn't it?
Yeah.
You never switched it off though? Like,
I haven't in my time.
okay.
So
No, they know not to touch the blinking white box that protects all their souls.
yeah, the
Yeah.
internet box. Yeah,
Fantastic. But firewalls, that's interesting.
yeah, every single client we have runs Sophos Edge firewall. So
That's good.
you come on board and you don't have one, you're going to have one real soon.
How do they respond to that? Because not many clients and use these, know really what a firewall does at the end of the day. How many times have you had to have that conversation with them? You know what I mean? It just
Even
Out
our
of
most
curiosity.
difficult clients
Yeah.
come across. Because a lot of the clients that we get are referral-based businesses from the clients that get it. So they're like, oh, well, if you want an MSP that's going to walk you through the journey and, sell you the Kool-Aid, then here's CORP IT. So
awesome.
we do a lot of referral-based stuff. And
This is a tech stack question. So in CORP IT, it's our way or the highway. If you're coming on board as a client, you're getting our firewall because that's what my staff is certified in. That's what they're trained in. That's what they know how to use. If you've got something else, yeah, we can do it. The principles are the same. You can imagine that the outcomes are not as good. They're not as fast. They're not as easy. It's not a good outcome. So normally I would say, like even our larger clients, 300, 600, like they move to Sophos firewalls pretty quickly because I need my staff to be able to manage those.
Need the efficiencies.
Yeah. I need it in Sophos Central so I get my alerting and my capability, right? If they're running Palo Altos, Sonic Walls, or whatever, it's a disparate technology. And I can't account for those security risks once they have them because they're not integrated, right? As an MSP, your efficiency will only come from a consolidated stack. You are only going to get it when you get every client on the same thing. It works for both parties, right? Your MSP works because it can obviously do it well and do it efficiently. It works for the clients because obviously they now know that you've got the capability to be able to do it fastly, efficiently, and with capability, right? Your firewalls are just the start of that because effectively they're protecting your sites, but we all know that now our sites may be protected. What do we do with all of our staff that aren't on site? So the same thing with endpoint, the same thing with every other vulnerability scanning, pen testing, every other part, it all needs to come in because if you can't control it, you're technically not protecting them correctly.
Thanks, man. I appreciate the input from both of you for that. Yeah, surprised it was firewalls, but hey, at the end of the day, it's your way on the highway, right?
I think that that's just the start post, right? That's why, like, firewalls for us is because most clients have the maturity to understand what a firewall is. Trying to talk about the difference between 6R, Intercept X Advanced, for people that don't know, and MDR, that's a harder conversation. You got to build that conversation in that journey.
Cool. No, awesome. Thanks for that, guys. Look, that's the bulk of the main questions, right? To keep the online audience and of course everyone engaged, right? I've got one final fun question, right? It's a little bit of as the year is ending, 2024 is ending. Okay, 2025 is coming up, and we've just about seen it all, right? The insane rise of AI and everything around that. But I did have one question about just to get your opinions, your personal opinions, right? It's not going to offend anyone online, I'm sure. We'll keep it PG or rather safe for work as much as possible. What is your hottest or controversial opinion and take? And I'll get one from each of you guys, right? About 2024 regarding technology. It can be anything, cybersecurity, technology, etc. Did you have a hot take?
I think the managed risk and insurance side of things is going to absolutely blow up from what I've seen in the number of questionnaires and surveys I have done this year for our clients alone. I think it is going to be massive, and some of the MDR and the managed risk products that Sophos have will hopefully be a checkbox and get them what they need on their surveys going forward and get them better protected.
Risk, okay, awesome.
Controversial?
It can be anything.
Yeah, sure. MSPs suck when it comes to dealing with our clients' data and their requests. We can all do a lot better, and I think that 2025 will see the year that we transition from this idea of services and capability into something more that's where it's like we're going to be dragged into the data and analytics and things like that. We're going to be dragged into this idea of enabling our clients. We have a lot of our clients just touching into AI at the moment, but every one of our clients has said that they want Copilot. Now, I want to turn it on for them, but I also want to protect them, and I can't do that unless they've got the maturity to reach that. So we're working on scaling that up and the capabilities within it. Obviously, that drives change and capacity and capability, but things like DLP, I think, is massive. Microsoft information protection or just like encryption at rest and in transit, massive. I think that all of these are security components that are going to drive a better conversation. But the bigger and more important thing is actually ensuring that we get these clients these efficiencies that they're being told that they can have now and get it to them safely. We're working on it. I don't know. It's a difficult one to solve.
Just call out every single the 100 or so MSPs online in this room.
Sorry.
But I love it. Thank you for the controversial opinion. You're right. Everyone needs to pay more attention to data the way it's stored these days, especially with AI literally scraping the internet and the amount of money that they pay in order to be access to those. For example, I think it was ChatGPT got exposed with $15 million they pay the news outlets and all the news and media corporations $15 million, in total, essentially, in order to be able to scrape the top surface of that, right? So they're already making money and costs on that. Anyway, no, but thank you for that. Alvin, anything to finally finish up?
I would actually be off the back of what Jay was saying about the AI side of things. I would say in 2025, it's not like 2024 was the year of talking about AI. 2025 is more educating and actually implementing it safely. As of right now, I don't believe we have any particular AI compliance rules. Wild West at the moment. So I do believe 2025 would be the year moving forward where there's a bit more governance around it. And if it's not structured by a compliance framework, at least it might be MSPs like yourself forming best practices, saying this is what we're doing, this is what we built as a process for our people and also our customers' internal processes to ensure that not only you understand the data, but also you can understand the safety as well.
No, definitely. No, thanks, Evan. And I'm surprised that we got so far in this conversation about saying AI rather than we just went bam, 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 bam. And we just went it. But look, any closing words, guys, right? It can be anything because we have, about 100 people online. Everyone here is an MSP, right? Or from an MSP rather. Anything that you wanted to, just tell them coming into the year, advice, tips and tricks, literally anything. Just to close it.
The aggregate billing from MSP is fantastic. You can buy some of the cheaper things to get a band jump to save you more money overall. Sorry.
All about that. This man's all about
Make their
money.
job
I love it.
Look, I think 2025 is actually a year of opportunity if we're ready to take it, right? As MSPs, we're uniquely positioned as advisors to businesses of the Australian and NZ market, if they're here. And I think that we've got a lot of growth to do in our own businesses themselves to be able to take advantage of that. But if you're ready and you're there, then I think that there's a lot of opportunity. I think that, again, we've just got to mature into that space.
I think there's enough being said between the two of you, but I think 2025 is going to be a great year for a lot of the MSPs. As we've got things like MDR and people are taking their security posture much more seriously rather than just focusing on break fix solutions. They're actually focusing on how are they being able to deliver best cybersecurity outcomes. I think 2025 is shaping up to be a really good year, just based on some of the discussions and conferences that we've been to. A lot of our partners are sort of re-looking at their offering and making sure that their customers aren't just fixing it. They're actually holistically looking at their overall business structure.
Awesome. 2025, land of opportunity, guys, rather time of opportunity. Look, I'm excited myself, okay? At the end of the day, I would like to thank each of you guys for coming on the panel. CORP IT, you guys have done an amazing job, and that's why I brought you here in order to share the knowledge, share the passion, right? If anyone online ever wants to join us, of course, you guys in a panel like this, of course, and give back to the IT channel community space, you're more than welcome to. You guys have done so today, so I'd love to thank you and give you a massive round of applause. Online guys, you're welcome to punch emojis all over the screen if you want. I'm not sure if we allowed that because you would literally spam all the way up to the half of the screen. But yeah, awesome guys. Thank you so much. And I can't wait to see you guys next time. Yeah. Cheers. Thanks guys. See ya. That's that. Awesome guys. Well, while the filming has been done, okay, we're going to take a quick 5-minute intermission again. Okay. I'm going to prepare all the goodies and the prizes and whatnot. You guys have clearly seen a lot of gift cards and stuff, probably arrive inside of your inboxes. We've got lunch here for our in-person audiences, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, just a quick heads up that we will be, for anyone who hasn't filled back the feedback form online, or rather the workshop form, rather, to set your 2025 goals and be inspired, make sure you do that, okay? Because you will be in the lucky draw to win some awesome prizes. We have in here sponsored by Sophos. We love being Santa. But we're going to take a 5-minute intermission, guys. There will be a presentation from Alvin about the demo portal, okay? But I'll have a quick discussion with that to see how that goes. But give us 5 minutes, guys. We'll be right back. Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you so much for waiting. We were just setting up the central portal demo, and Alvin's got his screen share up. This is for everyone who wants to get some hacks and tips and tricks that they don't usually know about inside of the configuration side of central portal. Alvin's the expert here, so I'm going to hand over to him. This is for all the new stuff that you probably don't usually see. So I'm quite interested as well. I'm going to join the audience, but I'll pass it over to Alvin, and then that'll be the end of the workshop. After that, I'll see you guys in just a bit.
Thanks so much for that. All right, so for those of you who are on the call, you probably recognize this. This is id.sophos.com. I always like starting off here as a bit of a best practice. And also because I just logged in, need to make sure the session isn't timed out. Assuming I typed this password correctly. Great. Hopping over to my phone. I am heading into the partner dashboard, and it's just buying me time so I can get my one-time passcode for you right now. Partner dashboard is probably where we'll be spending most of our time, but I will head into the partner portal, which we mentioned earlier by David about the cybersecurity assessment and also the MDR opt-out letter. So might as well go there at the same time. So feel free to play along if you do have access to your partner portal and partner dashboard. So let's go and do the partner portal first, because that is a shorter part that we have. Let me just get my notes on my phone. That's what we want to show you. Here in the Sophos Partner Portal, under the Asset Library, there are a number of resources available for you as a Sophos partner, MSP Flex partner and whatnot. What we're going to be looking at here is the MDR opt-out letter. We can go to Managed Services, which have a number of resources here, but the actual letter is sitting in the Managed Services and in the Letters section. This particular letter here, as mentioned, it's downloadable. If you want to rephrase it, put it in different words, throw it into AI to regenerate some of the wording aligned with your business practices, by all means, do that. But this is downloadable here in the partner portal under the asset library. If you do have trouble finding it, you could search for the word MDR letter just in the asset item here. The other item that we talked about before, I probably won't touch on it too much further because, glad to see David already did the live demo of the cybersecurity assessment. Let me go Sophos, yes, assessment tool. This is the assessment.gse.sophos.com. This is the one where you can fill in this particular framework form to comply with it. But as mentioned by Jai before, there are other compliance frameworks that you may want to look at, which is things like Sophos Essential 8. And this may be a way of addressing, oops. Love it when demos work like this. We've got different things around the ASD and whatnot, where you can go in and follow that particular PDF document around it. But whilst that is loading, let me just switch back to the partner dashboard. Yep, we're in. Perfect. So what we wanted to talk about here was to do with the item that Chris mentioned before, updating and upgrading a customer from InterceptX Advanced over to an MDR offering is as simple as a couple of clicks away. In here, we're in the partner dashboard and managed customer usage section. And for those of your customers who are being managed by yourself and they're on the monthly licenses, to upgrade a customer from InterceptX Advanced, let's say these two customers from InterceptX Advanced to MDR, it would be a change of license. You can go through all of them, but in this case, I'm just going to be changing the endpoint and server licenses over to, let's say, MDR complete for your customer. It's a few more clicks because we're trying to untick some things, but here we would MDR complete, hit next at the very bottom here. Let me just zoom out a little bit. There's a hit save button, and that particular change will be pushed towards those tenants, and the license will be reflected accordingly. And that's all that's needed. You won't have to redeploy, you don't have to reconfigure anything for those customers. And if you're on MSP Flex for them, they'll be billed accordingly for that particular license usage. The other thing that we wanted to show you during this particular partner dashboard area is the ability for update billing. So some of you on the call may have some customers that are already using some term licenses where you've purchased 1, 2, or 3 years already, and you may be at that stage where you're ready to switch them over to an MSA and also have it as part of a monthly billing arrangement with them. On your partner dashboard, you could actually convert these tenants from trial or termed over to a monthly license through the update billing button. In this case, it's actually saying it's converting it from usage to term, because this same button can actually be used the other way. So if you are converting it away from your monthly billing over to a term license, you could definitely do that by applying the term license key in here, and it'll be pushed to that respective tenant. Now, some of you on the call may be thinking, well, these are very high level, these things that we do already. The reason why we're sort of doing these sort of initial discussions around update billing, change licenses, is because we're trying to allude you into the side of the MDR and getting you ready for that particular discussion and also action item. Because as mentioned by Jai before, it takes a moment or two, and in many cases, almost 6 months to get your team up to speed with some of these products and processes and dashboards that they may be operating. And one of them may be this central partner dashboard that they'll be in there day in, day out. And if you are using MDR, this is something that's really important for your team to be getting into, not only to see the cases and the report history that you can generate for each of your respective customers. So right now I'm looking at the partner reports that you can download for the weekly or the monthly, but you could also get into the respective customer reports that you can download here. So you don't actually have to launch into those customers to download them. You could download it from here and get it ready to be issued out. We do have a question in the room. Yes, go for it.
Is there any automation coming to be able to email these out instead of having to go into Central and download them myself?
Excellent question. I believe once upon a time we did have that as an automated email, but however, due to the content that was inside it, it was a bit of a risk to be automatically emailing a report with that much information to it. And as a result, they sort of put it behind the central, which required SSO and logins and whatnot. However, it would be definitely something that in discussion already for trying to get this out of central into other platforms. But again, as I mentioned earlier, it takes two to tango, be it a PSA tool, an RMM tool, or a reporting tool. So we will need to wait for that to come along. Now, what we're also going to be looking at here is to do with MDR contact preferences. As one of the things that we mentioned during the discussion panel before, Jai has authorized Sophos to be able to take action on these particular MDR cases. In here, there are actually 3 response modes, technically 3. We've got the collaborate and authorize, but in the middle, there's actually a option where it's collaborate, in the sense that we try and contact your team at a time to get this sorted. However, if we can't get in touch with your team, you authorize the MDR team to be able to respond to those that particular investigation or incident. I would say at the very least, if you do have it like this, collaborate, authorize. Having it like this means that we will need to wait for that particular engagement with the MDR contacts, like yourself, your team at 8 a.m. or whatnot, and that might be a too long of a period in the event of an incident. Alternatively, if you want to go the other way, you could crank it up to authorize and also enable live response for all customers. And for those of you who have used the Sophos XDR and MDR offering, live response is effectively like a terminal session available through Central into those customers' particular devices. And this gives the MDR team an additional layer of control in the event of an incident or an investigation. But for the purpose of this demo, I will not do that particular change because our engineer who's looking after this one will not be too thrilled about that. But in terms of this, as a partner, you can nominate 3 authorized contacts. One of them will be an admin of your particular partner dashboard. The secondary and tertiary contacts can be a broader team email, or it can be another person who's not part of your partner dashboard at the moment. These are still typically people will be choosing whoever is an admin already looking after the partner dashboard, as it may make a little bit more sense around that. But last but not least is the customized preferences for MDR. Right now, we do have it as collaborate for all the MDR customers for this demo partner account. However, if a certain customer, let's say Radica company, would like to change it to a full authorized method, you can do that and set a particular setting for that customer, and also change the primary, secondary, and tertiary. So instead of contacting your team, it may be you might be the primary, and then the secondary might be their IT person, and third might be their IT manager or something like that. So you can customize it to your heart's content there. Now, opening up my agenda again, we wanted to also look at something that we mentioned during the earlier part of the presentation, which is the firewall SSO update. Now, if we go to our business, then go firewalls, wait for that to load up for a quick minute there, go over to the firewalls over here. Instead of going through all these particular items, well, where is it? Firewalls, here it is. Instead of going through all of them, what you can do is you can go SFOS 21, and it'll find all the ones which are version 21. And what you'll see here is a little pop-up box, just in case you can't see it. Let me zoom in. This little thing means it's going to be opening up in a new tab. And I just click it, it's going to open up a new tab. I can click that, it's going to open up in a new tab. It doesn't like me pressing that one for that one. I guess I pressed the wrong one. It's okay. Let's go with another one. Let's click on that one. It's open up a new tab. And these are all loading in separate tabs. So for those of your team members who are operating and managing customers' environments, you don't have to wait for one to load in order to get to the next one and whatnot. Just simply click and they'll be loaded as is. These are two different firewalls. Let's go with this one, number 3. 1, 2, 3. All of them are showing up accordingly, and you could make the respective changes and get the respective insights. For those of you on the call who already have had some XG and XGSs connected to your central partner dashboard and through your customer central accounts, this is not sped up. This is all live. As you can tell, it's a lot faster than it was once upon a time. But this is only available through SFOS v21. Therefore, it's not available for those who are still running v20 and below, that sort of thing. Now, on the topic of that, let me just double check anything else. Something else that we wanted just to highlight here is a lot of our MSPs are utilizing things like global templates for their customers. You may want to set a baseline from a web app DLP control that you, for example, you might want to set web policy whereby certain categories are not blocked by default because it may be a certain, for example, in Australia, they may have a very high tolerance for drinking. So they might go, well, let's undo that and allow that sort of setting as a base policy. So you can set that up. But obviously, if you do have certain application control and preferences or threat protection that you are wanting to implement across your customer base, you can utilize templates. For example, you might have one for hospitality, one for retail, one for the mom and pop shops, around the corner, the convenience stores and whatnot. That might be handy for those particular purposes. The same goes for utilizing the firewall templates as well. And again, these are particular tools that's already built into your partner dashboard. We do recommend a lot of our partners just to have a look at it, just to see what else can help with streamlining some of these efficiencies, as mentioned by Jai beforehand, that a lot of the MSPs do want to make sure that they're not wasting time on unnecessary things if it's the same thing, and also what sort of processes are in place to make sure that customers' security outcomes are addressed appropriately. And last but not least, let me just double check, just conscious of time. A shameless plug that thankful from Chris over at CORP IT before. Let's head over into the MSP Flex price list for a quick moment. For those of you on the call, you probably already have a copy of this, but do give me a brief moment as I switch over to that. But let's see, let me get rid of this. Let me get rid of some of these things here as well. And let's go back into this. If you are looking for the price list, this is actually available through your partner portal. We do get partners asking where do they get it, whether do they have to wait for the DC to send it to them or whatnot. The price list is available in the MSP Flex Oh, not on this particular account anyway, but I will get it for you in just one moment. Give me one moment. Whilst we're waiting for that, hopefully you are not hearing too much background noise as there were some cars whizzing by, and also one of the vents in the air conditioning is flapping away. So hopefully my voice covers all that for you. Give me one moment, just loading up the price list. If you do have the price list handy for yourself, feel free to open it up and play along as such. Undo that, and this as well. I believe all the gift card vouchers are all issued out for lunch for them. Yep, that's good. Hopefully you're having a
As a fun fact, everyone, we issued approximately $3,000 worth of gift cards to everyone online for lunch. So I hope you guys enjoy. I know I'm supposed to not share the costs and stuff like that, but this is our way of giving back to you guys. So thank you for joining online. Okay, if you're present during the panel and stuff, that's basically when we gave it. All right, but yeah, we love you guys so much. All of our amazing MSP Flex partners. We love giving back. There will be some prize draws after this as well, just to keep things interesting. I see some love hearts. Thanks, guys. Thanks for the reactions. I love that. I appreciate that too. But yeah, we will be doing a lucky draw at the end of it for anyone who's done that the workshop form, the responses. Okay, and I'll let Alvin keep going. But how long left before we do that lucky draw prize?
I think I'm done after this part.
Oh, you're done after this part?
Ready to roll.
Okay, fantastic. I'll be announcing our prizes after that, and then we'll be ending the session. But thank you so much, everyone, for sticking around so long, only a little bit longer, and I can't wait to see you guys in a bit. Okay.
Excellent. Thanks so much for that. So just a refresher of the MSP Flex price list. It is an aggregate model. So rather than think of each customer that's using, as we talked about before, one license of Sixer, Intercept X Advanced. Think of each of your customers aggregating up to you. So if you have 20 customers, then each customer is 15 users each. That's about 300 users, which puts you at the price band 2, where it's about $4.18 per user per month. But the whole point of this particular conversation today is also powering you and your team to look at the advanced licenses in the MDR offering, which is the Managed Detection Response Essentials, a complete offering here. Yes, moving it up from here, let's switch it over from 300. Let's got 200 here, and then let's say you've moved 100 of them over to the MDR. And also, in light of the promotion that we have available for today's workshop of 90% off the fish threat product, we are looking at here right now. Yeah, it is about $2.48, but as mentioned by Naina and also by David, the promotion for the next 3 months, if you do wish to participate, reach out to David and the team. It would be 90% off whatever figure that you see here. So let's say out of those 300 users, you start utilizing this for a number of them where they are, let's say you've got about 150 that you're utilizing on a monthly basis. Now, I've planted these numbers right now. We are at the 450 mark. And the reason why we plant this is also off the back of what Jai and Chris mentioned earlier on the panel, how they are building it out as part of their stack, as part of their baseline offering, as part of their best practice. If you are moving some of these customers over to, like they're using 365, they've got cloud email and they want to have Sophos email as part of their security, this is where, for example, here, you might be offering fish threat for a bunch of them, but you might also be using email licenses. But right now, let's look at this figure. We're about 450 licenses in. If we use another 50 licenses of, let's say, Central Email Advanced, we have just hit the 500 mark. But those of you who are eagle-eyed, you would have noticed that this number has just dropped down a little bit. And that's because everything in this blue category, they add up together and you get the aggregate benefits of that as well. So let's just go back one step. 450 licenses is just a smidge under $2,000. And by utilizing a few more licenses for maybe a new customer as part of your campaign for, as mentioned by Naina, Fish for New Business, you effectively just brought yourself to the next price band, which has reduced your overall cost, as well as being able to move some of your customers up to the next price band. Things like the MDR has also gone down in price. But you could definitely get creative with this, as there are a number of solutions available here. Each of these categories add up to each other. Here we've got the server category, and we've got things like the MDR, managed detection response, essential for the server, and the complete iteration of that. But something that, as mentioned by Chris before, is a lot of our partners are having a lot of success on putting hardware into the picture, having it as our way or the highway, having a baseline standard for them. And in the event that you are wanting to offer the firewalls, either hardware is paid outright by the customer, or you own the hardware and you charge them a monthly cost for that, and you want to put an MSP license there. For example, here we've got an XGS 108. If you were to put an MSP license, it would cost about $25.50. As I mentioned earlier, everything that aggregates in the green reduces the overall cost. But if you have a business model where this is your key, your standard for every customer, let's say you've got maybe a couple of customers that's using the XGS 118 with an extreme protection with WAF and email. You have another 10 customers using the XGS 126, but just on standard protection. And let's say we crank this number up to about 8, and we do another 2100. Let's say you've got 5 of these. You would have noticed something on your on the Excel sheet just shifted. So the price of that extreme protection for an XGS 108 has now dropped down to $24 per device per month. And you could replicate this over time for your other users. So again, think of your customer and think of what sort of business offering you are planning to offer to your customers moving forward, because think of that aggregate, not just each individual customer in total. And this is completely understandable as to why Jai mentioned earlier, it takes 6 months to implement a new solution into it, not because there's a new shiny product, but also you have to make sure that the business processes and from a commercial perspective, it makes sense, and also your people understand how the platform works. I would highly recommend, for those of you, some of the things I've shared with you today may not be completely all relevant, but hopefully there have been a few nuggets that you have taken away to be able to utilize for your development and call to action go to market of the MDR offering. In here, there are a variety of other subscriptions available as well. Feel free to play around with that. But just conscious of time, I think I will pass the mic back to David and just giving him a thumbs up. Okay, so he's coming back over to take the mic off me. Hopefully that has provided you a bit of insight around that. And if you have any questions, just reach out to ourselves here. David will be able to connect us as well if you don't already have our details as such. Sliding his laptop back in, and we'll share it as well.
Awesome, guys. No, thank you so much to everyone for sticking around waiting. I hope you learned something. Right, Alvin is a mastermind in getting the most out of the MSP Flex program and getting the most out of the value of everything you could possibly do. Right, so it makes me proud in order to know that Alvin's given you guys specifically as much as they can. But yeah, make the most of basically next year and the remainder of this year. Grow on your business, right? Which is the theme of this workshop. Now I'm gonna. We've gone through all the content. Everything is essentially done, right? So I'd like to thank everyone for sticking around and amazing. We're gonna do some prize draws just to have a cool end. Finish up, right? I'm gonna share my screen really quickly and make sure that the last part is broadcasted to everyone, so no one feels that I've jigged it or wrangled it. Okay. I hope you guys can see that. That is up on the screen here. We're gonna do some prize draws, guys, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. I'll do the virtual ones first. We've got an in-person audience, ladies and gentlemen, so I need to invite them into the room as well. But thank you for being here. All right. Hope you learned something. All right. This for if you're in the lucky draw, okay. This is for everyone. The first one, the first prize, okay, is the Logitech Spotlight. Okay, and I'll bring it up to the camera real quick. So give me a quick second. Bring it up to the camera real quick. The Logitech Spotlight for everyone online. This is for anyone who has done the workshop form. Okay, the workshop form and submitted it. So awesome Logitech product with it's the sleek presentation remotes, not the clunky ones you see, you know. So when you go on to your end user board of directors and whatnot, and you're presenting, you can slide it out there and it looks lovely. Okay, look, in 3, 2, 1, RNG, I hope it's on your side for everyone who filled out that feedback form, okay? Congratulations to just on James B. Congratulations, guys. James B online. Sorry. My apologies. I misspoke there for anyone who did the feedback form. My apologies. Who did the feedback form. So James. Yeah, James B. Fantastic. Okay, that's yours. Thanks, man. It's confusing when you have a hybrid. No, well, come up. Let's do some pictures. It's confusing when you do an in-person and a virtual audience. You have to look around the room, guys. Nice. Awesome.
Thank you.
Amazing. Okay, cool. Nice. That was that. Now we have a lovely in-person audience. That's not our panel presenters and not Sophos, okay? So there's a few less names on the board, but that's okay. This one's going to be another RNG spin in 3, 2, 1. Da 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 da. What a good sport. Thank you, sir. Just put it around. You want to spin it again? Look, I appreciate that. That's, wholeheartedly. Thanks. And I'm sure everyone online is calling you a good sport here. So you did it in front of the right crowd, a public online audience. Okay. So, how about do you want me to, I'll spin it again. I'll spin it again. Yeah, I'll spin it again. If RNG takes it, right, and you got to do it again, then. Congratulations, you're still launching MXT's advanced keyboards. Okay, so we'll just get that camera there. Awesome, thanks so much. Congratulations there. And the last one is an Orbit key. Okay, I'll bring it up to the camera. Thank you guys. Orbit key gift set. So a little stocking stuffer. We love Orbit key. They're really cool, in just key organization stuff. But that will be done after the webinar for everyone who's attended, okay? I can't get that list right now simply because the webinar is currently ongoing, okay? But if you see an email from me, you'll also get that, right? Once again, all right, this is the conclusion of the workshop, okay? Everyone has been so fantastic in joining us, being here today. It is my wholehearted thank you to say thank you for being our partners. Thank you on behalf of Sophos for being here. I can't wait to be able to see you guys again. It's going to happen again next quarter, okay, as we kick off the new year, all right, and see what we can potentially do to grow your business into 2025. The 25 is coming, guys. See you guys online. It was fantastic to see you. Goodbye. I'm going to end the webinar now. Have a good day, guys.